Have you ever opened your eyes in the morning and wished you hadn't? Not because something terrible happened, but because everything feels heavy for no clear reason. Your body wakes up, but your heart doesn't. The ceiling looks the same. The room feels quiet, yet your mind is already loud. Thoughts rush in before you even breathe. Properly. Responsibilities, regrets, fear, another day to survive. For Ethan, mornings were the hardest part of being alive. He was 34, living in a crowded city that never slowed down. People said he was doing fine. He had a job in an office, a small apartment, and enough money to get by. But every morning felt like a reminder that he was empty. The alarm would ring, and instead of hope, he felt resistance. His first thought was never, "I'm glad I'm here." It was always, "Here we go again." He would lie in bed scrolling through his phone, watching the world move without him. Other people smiling, achieving, traveling, living. Every image felt like proof that he was falling behind. By the time he stood up, his chest already felt tight. Breakfast tasted like nothing. The mirror reflected a man who looked tired even after sleeping. His girlfriend Maya noticed the change long before he did. One morning she asked softly, "Do you remember the last time you woke up happy?" Ethan didn't answer, not because he didn't want to, but because he couldn't remember. "I think something is wrong with me," he finally said. "I have a life people pray for, but I don't feel grateful. I just feel tired." Maya's eyes filled with sadness. "You don't feel present," she said. "It's like you're alive, but not really here." Her words stayed with him all day. Ethan believed happiness was something waiting in the future. A better job, more money, less stress. He kept telling himself, "Once things improve, I'll feel better." But the days passed, and nothing changed inside him. Even good moments felt distant, like they belonged to someone else. The sadness didn't scream, it whispered. And that was the most dangerous part. One night, after another argument, Maya said something that broke him. "I don't need a perfect life," she said. "I just need you to be awake in it." That night, Ethan couldn't sleep. He stared into the dark, feeling the weight of years he had spent just getting through days instead of living them. The next morning, he woke up before the alarm. His chest felt heavy. Instead of grabbing his phone, he got dressed and stepped outside. The city was quiet in a way he had never noticed before. In a small park, he saw an older woman sitting alone on a bench, watching the sky change colors. There was a calmness about her that didn't belong to the city. She looked peaceful in a way Ethan had forgotten was possible. Without thinking, he sat a few steps away. After a long silence, he asked, "Can I ask you something strange?" She smiled gently. Strange questions are usually the most honest. "How do you look so calm?" he asked. "Life feels heavy every time I wake up." She studied him for a moment, then said something simple that stayed with him forever. "Because I choose what I feed my mind before the world feeds it for me." Ethan frowned. "What does that mean?" She took out a small notebook from her bag. The pages were worn, filled with handwriting. "For years," she said, "every morning before I touch my phone, before I think about my problems, I remind myself why this life is still worth being in." He laughed softly. "I don't think writing can fix what I feel." She nodded. "It won't fix your life, but it will change how you experience it." The woman explained her practice quietly, like it was something fragile. "Every morning," she said, "I write 3 specific things I'm grateful for. Not big things, not perfect things, real things." Ethan looked unconvinced. "What if there's nothing to be grateful for?" She smiled sadly. "There were days I wrote, 'I'm grateful I survived today.' That was enough." She told him something that shook him deeply. Sadness grows when we practice it daily. So does peace. She explained that the mind is trained by repetition. Ethan realized something painful. He had been practicing hopelessness every morning without knowing it. He woke up searching for reasons to be disappointed, and his mind always delivered. Before they parted, she handed him a blank notebook. 30 mornings, she said. "Give yourself 30 mornings." That night, Ethan placed the notebook beside his bed. The next morning felt awkward. His hand hovered over the pen. His mind said, "This is pointless," but he wrote anyway. Day 1. I woke up. The room was quiet. That someone still cares about me. It didn't feel magical, But it felt honest. The days passed. Some mornings were harder than others. Some days he struggled to find even one thing. But slowly something changed. Not his life, his awareness. He started noticing small moments. Warm sunlight through a window. A stranger holding a door. The sound of rain against glass. These moments were always there. He had just been blind to them. By the second week, he caught himself pausing during the day, thinking this matters. One evening, Maya looked at him and said, "You're different, quieter but lighter." He showed her the notebook. She cried while reading it. By the 30th morning, Ethan realized something that scared him, in a good way. He wasn't waking up dreading the day anymore. He wasn't happy all the time, but he was present. He returned to the park. The bench was empty, but the lesson remained. Months later, Ethan still writes every morning. Not because life is perfect, but because life is still happening. He still has bad days. He still feels sadness, but it no longer controls him. And maybe that's the truth we all need to hear. You don't escape sadness by running from it. You heal by learning to notice what still exists alongside it. So tonight, place a notebook beside your bed. Tomorrow morning, before the world tells you who to be, remind yourself why you're still here. Even if the reason is small, especially if it's small.